What does it mean to sneeze? What does it mean to sneeze? According to dictionary.com, to sneeze is to emit air or breath suddenly, forcibly, and audibly through the nose and mouth by involuntary spasmodic action. I'll say again, to sneeze is to emit air or breath. In other words, when you sneeze, there's nothing anyone or you can do about it. When you have to sneeze, you have to sneeze. It's one of those things that's just uncontrollable. And we've all had those experiences where we feel like we've sneezed at the worst possible time. We have. And from the look at your faces, I can see your face. You wonder what in the world does sneezing have to do with MLK, right? So when I was doing my research, I was trying to decide which direction I wanted to go in for the speech. And I immediately came to the conclusion that I was going to give you an old school history lesson on Dr. King. So I got my statistics, I got my PowerPoint, I had my pictures ready. I was ready to go. And then I got to thinking, I was like, well, everyone already knows who Dr. King is. I mean, let's be honest. When you came in here today, you knew exactly who Dr. King was. You did. I would even go out on a limb to say you knew what you were going to get from this ceremony, to a certain extent. So, in elementary school, we paint pictures of Dr. King. In middle school, we watch movies of Dr. King. In high school, we read books about Dr. King. Everybody in here knows who Dr. King is. So, I went back to the drawing board, and I was like, you know what, I need a different approach. So, I did some more research, and I came across a book that really caught my attention. And the book is called Why We Can't Wait. It's one of Dr. King's bestsellers, and it's a great book if you're into reading. It's a real good book. But in the book, he tells a story. And the story is a real powerful story, so I really want you to pay attention. And bear with me, because I'm not going to be before you long, because I don't like long speeches myself. But it's a really good story, and so the story takes place, it's the early 1960s, and Dr. King is in New York City, and he's at a book signing for the first book that he ever wrote, A Drive to Change, the first book he ever wrote. And so while he's at the book signing, he has his head down, he's signing a book, and a lady approaches him, a black lady at that. And she asks him, she says, "Are you Dr. King?" And it was a rhetorical question because, of course, she knew he was Dr. King, it was his book signing. So she asks if he was Dr. King, and in a real nonchalant manner, he goes, "Yeah, I'm Dr. King." And she immediately stabs him in the heart, boom. And so as you can probably imagine, everybody's freaking out, they're going crazy, they grab her, they throw her off. Dr. King thinks he's dying. So they rush him to Harlem Hospital. And when he gets to Harlem Hospital, he goes through emergency surgery. And after the surgery, the doctor comes in his room and he says, "You were this close." He says, "You were this close." He says, "The blade was so close to your main artery that if you would have merely sneezed, you would have died." He said, "If you would have merely sneezed, you would have died." Now, we just discussed how easy it is to sneeze. I read it from dictionary.com, so you know it was factual. So it's extremely easy to sneeze. Sneezing is something you cannot control. So you're telling me from the time he was at his book signing and got stabbed to the time that he reached the hospital, all he had to do was sneeze. Just sneeze, and he would have died. And so while Dr. King was recovering, he got a lot of letters. He was a popular man, so he got a lot of letters. He got letters from all over. He got letters from the governor. He got a visit from the governor. He got letters from mayors, a lot of high officials. And he said there was one letter that he would never forget. There was one letter. And it was a letter from a white teenage girl, which was already significant in itself because during that time, it wasn't too many people from the white population writing to Dr. King. So this girl, she writes him and she says, "Dr. King, I heard about what happened at your book signing. And I'm just writing you to let you know that I am so glad that you didn't sneeze." She said, "I am so glad that you didn't sneeze." And I just want to say today that I am too happy that Dr. King didn't sneeze, because if Dr. King would have sneezed, he wouldn't have been around here in 1960 when students all over the South started sitting in at lunch counters. If Dr. King would have sneezed, he wouldn't have been here in 1961 when we decided to take a ride for freedom and ended segregation in interstate travel. If Dr. King would have sneezed, he wouldn't have been here in 1962 when Negroes in Albany, Georgia decided to straighten their backs up. And whenever men and women straighten their backs up, they're going somewhere because a man can't ride your back unless it's bent. If Dr. King would have sneezed, he He wouldn't have been here in 1963 when black people in Birmingham, Alabama aroused the conscience of this nation and brought to being the Civil Rights Bill. If Dr. King would have sneezed, he would have had a chance later that year to tell the world about a dream that he had. If Dr. King would have sneezed, this country would have never seen in 1967 when a man by the name of Thurgood Marshall was appointed the first black man to the United States Supreme Court. If Dr. King would have sneezed, this country would have never seen in 2001 when Colin Powell became the first African-American Secretary of State. And if Dr. King would have sneezed, this country would have never seen in 2008 when Barack Obama was elected the first black president of the United States of America. I am so glad that Dr. King didn't sneeze. Thank you.